absolutely awesome with a lot of cool events. But briefly, I want to introduce Nick. He's got an announcement for you.
Yeah, just real quick, it'll be a couple sentences, but the etiquette dinner for UVSS is coming up. It's just a real formal event. It's $20 for a 5-course meal. It's like the best capital, the cookies here at Capitol I have to offer pretty much. So companies will be there, alumni will be there, the dean's going to be there too. It's a great place to network, kind of learn. It's an etiquette dinner, so you kind of learn how to act at a formal dinner. So it's also a learning experience as well. Just food and come hang out with some people. So it's $20. You guys should have tickets coming around. If not, I'll get them for you guys and make sure you have them. And yeah, so just it really helps out. You guys help us with the sales too. So just spread the word and it's the etiquette dinner and it's on. All right, I don't have the date, but I'll make sure to email it to you and then and get it out. So yeah, it helps out a lot, and I hope you guys have a good meeting and support it.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, so it actually looks kind of cool. It's like a 5-course meal up at Kellogg West. I'm always for food. So then we will have the tickets. Yes.
Free food.
No such thing as free beer. That's what that means. All right. So to start off with, I have some announcements. So things we're doing this quarter, like I mentioned, is going to be a very exciting quarter. So we're going to have Install Fest, not this coming Friday, but next Friday. Unless I have that wrong. Give me a second.
That would be third week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can't do it Friday.
Right. That's a very good point. That is a very valid point. But no, okay, so we will be having it on the 13th of April. So, back up beforehand, just in case. Yes.
What time does the Install Fest start?
Install Fest starts at 6 and goes until 10. I will, of course, be sending out information for all of these events because it's not up there, but I just wanted to give you an idea. Who thinks they would be interested in going to Install Fest?
I'll bring the black house.
This side of the room is failing. Did everyone see that? Come on, guys. Come on. No, but okay, so if you don't know what Install Fest is, basically it's where you come to us and we help you install Linux. Whether you want to install that in a virtual machine, so you can run it in a program in your computer, or whether you want to install that on bare metal. So we help you dual boot your system, have Linux in one partition, Windows in the other. Or, if you really want help with deleting your Windows partition, that's something I do for fun. So, that's Install Fest. It's fun because we have food, and even if you already have Linux installed and you don't know how to use it, or just want to, maybe you're trying to get something working, like you're trying to get an FTP server up, or you're trying to get X installed. That's what Install Fest is for. It's not just about installation the first time. It's also about other fun things. Everybody clap for Chris. He's here! The reason everyone is excited is because he's the one who has all of our raffle prizes. And the me standing up here sweating was involved with him not being here. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I was stalling for you.
Awesome.
Alright, so next up we're going to have our Red Team workshops. So, I've talked about this a lot. You've heard rumors of them. One of the things we'll be briefly discussing today is CCDC and what that is, and I'm going to be talking briefly about my experiences as Red Team on CCDC, because that's something I got to do over spring break. And so, Red Team workshops are basically, we teach you ethically, legally, how to do penetration testing. This is not hacking per se. It is hacking, but hacking has a connotation of illegality. Penetration testing is actually a job that you can hold. So, cool beans. Cool stuff. we're going to hopefully have some Red Team workshops. I had a really nice one all planned out, and everything was glorious, and then unfortunately our speakers had to drop out. So we're kind of working on that. It's in the loop. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that they're still planned. We just don't have dates for them currently.
We'll let you know ASAP.
Yes, we'll let you know very, very soon. And they will happen, I just don't know when. Tech Symposium. Tech Symposium is going to be happening. Oh, I forgot one thing actually. The Friday after Install Fest, CSS is going to be hosting Learn You Some Linux, which is basically they're going to help teach people how to use Linux. Introduction to Linux, whether it be LAMP, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, how to set up programming environments. No one else was at that meeting with me, so they can't help me. But there was a third module that was also cool. Well, like basically the default desktop kind of stuff. So, and that is happening after Install Fest, but it's not official yet. So just a heads up. Talk to CSS. Is anyone from CSS here? No. They'll be having their meetings tomorrow from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Like normal. I don't know what the topic is because they haven't sent out an email and no one's here. But it should be a great topic. Tech Symposium. Who is familiar with Tech Symposium? Okay, cool. So basically Tech Symposium is an event that we hold once a year, and the idea is that we bring in technical speakers, perhaps a little bit more technical than normal Swift talks. Not to scare anybody away, they're always really informative to all levels of learning. But the idea is that we try to get some white papers in, some more cutting-edge research in security and technology. And we are going to have some really cool speakers this year. That'll be 8th week.
So walking in front of the bus, was that the reason that I was going to that? Or was it? I would never do that.
I'm Swiss. I was the next alternate. When he was sick at the last minute, they made me drive up here.
Alright, I'm JT Bott. Anyway, I'm pretty much his partner in crime, and my main objective was to make sure I went Nazi on everyone who didn't complete their index. Make sure we get index, and even if they didn't quite meet our quality standards, points are points, and you need to get them in if you want to win the competition. And I think we did well. We got second place in business index. Beyond that, I'm in charge of logging systems and system monitoring, make sure performance is good, and making sure we don't have any intrusions, and also handling any miscellaneous index that are kind of floating around that no one really can tackle while they're busy maintaining services.
I'm Gradius. I'm the Windows team lead. Pretty much take care of everything from like the Windows infrastructure aspect, like Active Directory, Exchange, that sort of thing. But a lot of the competition for Windows is, hey, we have this new service, and a lot of the times it's either SharePoint or a new web service or another backup email server, that sort of thing. So a lot of the times it's adapting to the services they're throwing at me. Like a good example of Chris's learning on your feet sort of thing last year. About day 2, they said, hey, we have this new content management system we want you to use. It's called SharePoint. Never played with it in my entire life. Like, I had never seen it ever. And looked it up, Googled it, and within 2 hours I had a working SharePoint install. And that's just knowing how to Google. That's knowing how to look for the right step-by-step guide, really, because Windows is next install done. So, but beyond that, also being on the Windows team, you kind of get some flexibility, like, because I use Linux at home a lot of the times, and I also run some Linux web servers. So, for example, 01 was combating some sort of error in mail or something like that, and then he's like, oh my god, I need a WordPress install, and they need it in an hour. And he was like, I've never done WordPress before. So,
I don't know nothing about WordPress.
exactly. So he's like smashing his head on the keyboard trying to figure this out. And I personally am running 3 separate WordPress installs. So I've done it a lot. I've broken it a lot. And Zero said, hey, you know how to do WordPress. Go do it. And I'm not on the Linux team, but I went and set
but he knows how to use Linux too. Our team goes pretty deep in terms of, I think most of us know how to use Linux and Windows. And, you know, a lot of us have some solid idea behind the infrastructure too, so it really helps out. You know, we're able to help each other, and a large part of the competition is teamwork. I mean, we practice together every weekend, so, you know, we really kind of learn how to work together and all that. And then, yeah, I'm just kind of learning. So, this is my last slide, I think. It's kind of, you know, what do you need to know, like, if you wanted to be on the team? And these are just some things. I mean, first and foremost, you know, you should either become familiar with Windows Server or Linux, because those are the kind of the two main groups that we have to worry about. You know, if you're real interested in Cisco, you could take a look at that one too. But we already have a couple Cisco guys, and you know, we only have, you know, one switch and one router, so there's not a whole lot of equipment there to work with. But you know, becoming familiar with these protocols, you know, SSH and RDP, to let you remotely log into either a Linux or Windows computer. You know, SMTP, POP3's email, HTTP's web. I remember my first CCDC practice that I ever went to, they were talking about all this stuff. You know, SSH, SMTP, and I had no clue what they were talking about at all. I wrote everything down, and then like went home and went on Wikipedia and looked everything up, and like, you know, tried to familiarize myself with what was going on. They also made me install Arch Linux, my very first practice, and that was like, I was like, partitions? What's that? So that was pretty hard. But yeah, so, you know, these Linux services and Windows services are kind of the applications that use those protocols. So we hold tryouts in July. I mean, if anyone's interested on being on the team for next year, or even being a part of our JV team to just train with us and then maybe be on the team the year after that.
Might also integrate turn our JV team as we get closer to the competition into our black team, and possibly also the red team to help us train that much more. So if you do join the JV team, chances are you will be with the team all the way up until the competition, helping us prepare and gaining experience as you go along to hopefully get a spot in the next competition. And the one thing that Betty again left off here is if you know how to write, whether it's if you can write, if you know policies, or you can write password policies, that definitely would help, because I'm personally graduating, so, and our other policy guy is also graduating, so we'll be down 2 policy guys, and we'll have to train up other people to basically take our place and step in.
What time do you guys meet on the weekends? Like, does it change, or do you guys have like a stable time on the weekends you guys meet?
It kind of Saturday or Sunday, like around 12.
When you wake up to when you go to bed.
Last year we practiced on Saturday, and we usually practice starting around 1 because we like to sleep on the weekends. We usually go like 1 to 6, maybe later if you're working on something. Frequently a lot of us are there.
1 to midnight is not uncommon.
Yeah, till midnight, or as the competition comes closer, 2, 3 in the morning. But this year we got our practices on Sunday because it just fit our schedules better. So we
adapt to the team, our coaches as well.
So were there any other questions about CCDC or?
You guys don't have like that much experience, and you just go just to see and like kind of learn from it, and maybe later do it.
If you go just to see, you will get thrown into something.
Well, I'm interested in joining that. I don't know too much about these, but I love to go and learn. And maybe once I get more comfortable, I can join the team.
I showed up to watch the tryouts. They threw a test at me, and I knew how to work my Linux box, but I didn't know anything about networking when I came in, and I actually learned everything via Google during the tryout. And I got on the JV team then, so.
I showed up to watch a practice competition for the JV team, and I ended up just kind of doing it.
The biggest thing I can say, if you're interested in it, when we send out the email for the tryout day, show up, and if you show any inclination, chances are you can
regional on the JV team, but we hold like practice competitions before then, virtual competitions with other schools and stuff. Like we went up against the Air Force, and we went up against
Washington University out in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. You just get some practice, and you really get into it. So, thank you. Definitely figure it out.
What day is the tryout?
We don't have a set
It's
yet.
more than likely going to be mid-July, August at the very latest, but either late July or late June, early July, somewhere around then. So around after the quarter's over, just sort of keep an eye out for an email, or hop onto Pound Swift, and we'll probably have it as a topic on the channel.
All ECE majors, CS majors, and a couple others got the email this year. And CIS majors got the email this year. So,
I mean, if you're not on that list, talk to any one of us. Like anybody in Swift, they'll be able to bring the reference.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Are you sure?
Raffle time. I was going to ask if there were any interesting stories.
I
Like
thought-
last
okay,
year?
so there is interesting
But
stories,
raffles.
but we definitely have to do the raffle now. So thanks, guys. And if you're wondering, should I do CCEC?
the answer is yes.
And you're on the fence. The year before I got here, the team that graduated, of the 8 members, 7 were hired by Boeing the day after they graduated. And the other one was just like, gonna stay around for a bit longer, and then eventually got hired. So, it's a really good job thing as well.